For those of you expecting this, you should probably head out now because this video is pretty far removed from it. I'll go ahead and give you a second to collect your things. For the rest of you, this video features yet another climax pitch, this time for a title that they were calling Diddy Kong Racing Adventure for the Gamecube, although this particular demo is running on an Xbox due to their tools being developed already. This was created on or about April 2004, and it was pitched with Nintendo sometime after that. The story of the game is as follows. After Diddy Kong defeated Wizpig on his own planet, the pig from space has been conjuring up a plan for a rematch. This time the Kremlings have gone Kong napping, and invited him to use his dastardly magic to turn Congo Island into a gigantic raceway, paved of course by Kremco. Diddy Kong returns from a visit to Timber the Tiger's Island to find Congo Island being bulldozed by Kremlings to make crazy courses for Wizpig to achieve his revenge against Diddy Kong and his friends. Diddy Kong gathers together the old crew of plucky racers to challenge straight away. The heroes tour Congo Island, finding race courses where Wizpig can be forced prematurely to make a challenge before the entire jungle is paved over. By defeating him at all the villages, Wizpig will be forced to retire his plans to turn the jungle into a roadway. A slightly earlier document had the wicked White Rhino Baron von Snort taking over the jungle, but the idea was very much the same. Based on the title of the game, the adventure mode would return. Spread out across 6 themed villages on Congo Island, the player would have been able to travel between all of these as they wished, each with 3 courses, all of which could be played in mirror mode, and plenty of hidden areas, characters, and other secrets to collect. When the villages are first visited, they would have appeared in a black and white mode, indicating that enemies were in control of the area, contrasting with the colorful surroundings of the rest of Congo Island. Each of the main villages would be unique, and each would be represented by an NPC that characterized the area. Beating the 3 courses at any given village would unlock another character, while beating all courses would have unlocked Donkey Kong and allowed you to challenge Baron von Snort. A hub world would connect all of the different villages, allowing the player to drive around as they wished. The villages included the Kong Family Village, AC Peaks with Candy Kong Ski Chalet, Pirate Lagoon with Funky Kong Surf Resort, the Rainforest and Kremlin Construction Camp, which featured treetop walkways and a partially constructed stadium. Also listed are Kremco Industries and Crunch's Den, with abandoned mine shafts and racing ruins with Cranky's Remedial Mud Spa. It is swampland with ancient city ruins and Wizpig's futuristic lair. The darker black and white idea would have extended to the baddies of the world too. Instead of the colorful characters that were typical of Nintendo games, the colors would be much more subdued. In order to liberate his friends, Diddy would have to beat them in a showdown, a one-on-one race preceded by either preliminary heats or by finding an item that the baddie really wanted in order to show the player's worthiness. This is where you probably would have seen the collectathon mechanics come into play, or a minigame such as showing off certain skills or doing harder tasks like beating a narrow course without crashing, or doing different types of stunt-based challenges. Like the original Diddy Kong Racing, there would have been multiple vehicles to control, including quad bikes, planes, buggies, jet skis, and hover scooters, all of which could be upgraded and customized with accessories. As the player progressed throughout the game, unique accessories would give the player new abilities to help them discover new areas and hopefully some hidden items. Spiked tires could increase the traction with a penalty to the top speed. The power chute would allow the player to glide across gaps, many years before Mario Kart 7 mind you, and a shark fin could be used to fight against the currents underwater. Unique to this entry would have been the mount control system, which would have allowed the player to move positions on the vehicle. This is already implemented in a simple form in the tech demo. Imagine being able to drive on 2 wheels to stay on a narrow pathway, or change your position to allow for clean wave jumping. To do this, the player would have used the C stick to move the character. The vehicles the player would be on would seem relatively small, giving the game a bit of a unique look when compared to the original title. The player could also leapfrog onto other vehicles, changing the areas where they could go mid-race. Like other kart racers, Diddy Kong Racing Adventure would have split the characters up by their weight group. Each character would have weapons that could be activated by picking up fruit, with the type of fruit determining the type of attack. Collecting a dark fruit would have allowed the player to unleash a character-specific attack but it would take a toll on the character's health. All of this was in addition to the unique melee rumble attacks which cost bananas to use. Due to Rare being bought by Microsoft, it wasn't exactly clear where the rights to certain characters belonged, so the character list was far from finalized. Diddy Kong would have of course been there, with his dark version bombarding opponents with giant gorilla faces. Tip Tup would have had a spinning ring of turtle shells as a special move. Dark Pipsy throws triangular cheese wedges, which could damage the player, causing them to lose control or slow down. Bumper's dark version would launch a mud tornado. Conquer, had he been available, would have rained explosive nuts. Timber's roar would have caused a nearly unavoidable sonic wave that slowed down others. And Crunch would use his crocodile jaws to chase the other racers. The team had hoped that Banjo would be available along with Mumbo Jumbo. Dixie and Lanky were considered, with Climax hoping to implement a total of 14 different characters, filling in different blanks with various members of the Kong family as needed. As you might have expected, the game would have featured multiplayer for up to 4 players via split screen. All of the courses and characters unlocked in the single player mode would have been available in multiplayer, in addition to the ability to customize courses with a range of time of day options and weather conditions. Each course would have had a normal mode and a monochrome mode, with various changes to the track. Game modes would have included straight race modes, time trial, knockout cup where the slowest racer is knocked out of the race, elimination which is essentially a demolition derby, show off which required the players to do a series of Simon Says style skills, and fruit bowl where the player must collect the right type of fruit to keep their character alive. All of these modes could be played as a free-for-all or in a 2 vs 2 tag mode. As always, I do want to pause and thank all of our Patreon supporters for the month. I know it's been a bit of a slow month with me moving and all, but that doesn't mean that work behind the scenes stops. Games like this are incredibly hard to preserve, and I thank all of you who continue to support me. We do have a new Patreon supporter this month, so I'd love to give these special thanks to Peter for supporting us on Patreon. Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/p2ponline. But let's get back to the game. While I've been unable to track down why specifically the game wasn't developed further, it is clear that Nintendo didn't pick up the pitch. I do know though that the team did have a chance to present it to Nintendo in some form, and Nintendo did respond back, but I've been unable to find out exactly what was said. I do know that Tom Prada, currently the Vice President for Project Development at Nintendo, but was then the Director for Project Development, responded to the group at Climax. And since then, we've waited for something new to come along, and it just hasn't happened. Climax would later go on to use Diddy Kong as a basis for one of their early Nintendo DS tech demos. Hopefully with the Switch on its way, Nintendo revives the series, but for now, it continues to be on ice. Again, thank you to all of you on Patreon who continue to support me, and I hope that all of you out there do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, thanks for watching.